we would like to go straight to the overview of the Italian market from the traveling point of view. And you can find here the two main data which are comparing 2010 to 2011 and 2011 and 2012 so far, which is meaning updated up to July. Um, International travels have been slightly decreased in 2011, but the most important thing, which is basically marking the Italian market since ever, is that we don't slow down in spending money for traveling. The expense is always quite high. This is a very, for us as Italian, quite important point, because if you compare the number of travelers to those of Germany or UK or France, we are definitely less. There are around 25, 26 million international travelers every year. But the most important thing is that this kind of clientele will fit well with your destinations because they are not scared about spending money. Not only before, when they book, they don't budget it, but even more important, they are not afraid to spend money in the destination. And this kind of money remaining in the destination for us is the most important one. Definitely, as you may know, since last year we have a technical government which has been taking care of adding taxes and controlling costs, and this has been quite scary for us for the first time ever, possibly. So this is one of the reasons why possibly last year we have seen a decrease in the number of travelers and also, of course, in the number of nights spent abroad. Well, for this year, we are positive in saying that trends are recovering and that while we are stable in number of travels, our average nights is slightly increasing. But on the other hand, we are controlling the costs. This is because of the effects of last year new government, because all the taxes they have added, we paid it this year, and they were paid by the way in June. So there were, let's say, a slowing down of bookings and of traveling because Italian wanted to see the effect of these new taxations. But the most important thing to mention still is that this is not including August yet. And August is traditionally our peak month for travel. So we should wait, let's say, one extra month to get a real update of the situation of the Italian market after the main peak season. Last year, we have also been suffering in the Caribbean because of the closure of Livingston as a flight operating to the destination, which is actually coming back in place. And starting from this December, they are starting operating new flights in the Caribbean, which is quite important from our point of view. On the other side, of course, because our market is not too stable from any point of view, Blue Panorama is suffering right now a bit of a crisis. So they are currently asking the support of the government to be assisted in maintaining the flights. So nothing new under the sun, but for the positive coming back of Livingston, but let's say a little bit of thrill around the position of Blue Panorama. What is also, by the way, important to say is that Alitalia, which is our national carrier and has been traditionally only focusing on the business travel or on business destination, has been now announcing that they are focusing more on the leisure one. And the leisure markets, of course, may open more and more doors to the Caribbean, and definitely from the image and the, let's say, perception point of view of travelers, flying Alitalia and flying a charter company for an Italian makes the difference. So if Alitalia is actually really entering this kind of market, for us as leisure travelers, as Italian leisure travelers, this could be quite an important point. There are other charter dedicated to cruising markets, of course, and mostly focusing on Guadeloupe and the French Caribbean. And still, the tour operators are those buying 90% of the seats on the charter flights. They can be officially booked also via the the web. They can be booked and paid only as a ticket, as a flight ticket, but naturally 90% is controlled by the tour operators themselves. So far, we have around 130 tour operators featuring the Caribbean. The number is quite stable compared to last year, not because we have not increased, but because unfortunately we have some new entrances and we have some tour operators which disappeared. The top destination for this year have been Dom Rep, Cuba, Bahamas for the first time overpassing Jamaica, which is traditionally our third market. Bahamas has been quite active the last year with the operation of a chartered direct flight with Blue Panorama, by the way, and this has been quite a strong action for them. And Antigua Barbuda is following. Caribbean today are more and more considered as an honeymoon product, most of time combined with the North America, which is also playing an important game for those of you not having a charter direct flight, because the connection from the States and the Caribbean are definitely easier, and this would not add a long trip to a couple flying to the States. Once they are in the States, they simply add 2-3 hours and they fly to the Caribbean and spend there like from a minimum of 4 nights to a maximum of 1 week average. The cruises are definitely the most stable and the most important, I would say, leisure segment in the Italian market. We have been hearing a lot about the gray hairs. This is an important market for Italy as well. And what is happening is that more and more seniors are spending their long vacation, which we heard being even 30 days, by cruising, because actually they spend less while cruising in terms of full board and all-inclusive services than what they would spend home. So this is definitely a segment. It's not a big segment, but still, as for France, even also our seniors are getting retired between 60 and 62, which makes them able to travel long haul for still quite a number of years. We have the same limit traditionally as France regarding the English, the capacity of speaking English or French or another international language, but this is also overpassing. And since we are talking about a target which is definitely medium-high, this is a minor problem so far. What you have to do to know if you want to do business with the Italian market, that apparently, like for all other countries we have been talking about this morning, the brackets of economy are wider. And on one side, you will have the low segment, which is definitely not interesting for you. But on the other side, people with money will still have money, and they possibly will have more money. And actually, they are not limiting their travel expense, and they are not limiting their willingness to travel. Finally, there is a different approach to the travel. We are not looking for low budget accommodation. This is not exactly the kind of approach an Italian would have when traveler. But we are starting looking on one side, well, we are keeping on the big resorts and 4 stars, 5-star level. On the other side, we are looking more into something different, into something more local, which can help us being more in contact with the local people, getting more the flavor of the destination. And this is also, I think, quite important for the majority of your countries, because so far the image of the Caribbean in Italy is still mostly related to the all-inclusive resorts of Dominican Republic, and the perception that there is something beyond the beach and the sun and the warm weather is still to be, in a way, created. So this is quite important, I would say. Tourism is perceived as a not to be missed product. It is perceived as a right. 76% of families with children have traveled in 2011, and this is quite important because families are those more affected by the new taxations. So if they are still willing to travel, this is really marking a change in our trends. The IEL tourists are traveling more than once per year, and the average length of stay is between 9 and 10 days. And they are looking for alternative destination. They are looking for something new. They are more motivated in discovering. They are grown-up boys with willingness to go further compared to where they have been in the last year. So we would really like you to be up to date about the activities that we are planning for 2013, because I think since we started, which is now 6 years ago, we have made a lot of progresses in that, and we are willing to do even more for that. So the idea, as we have discussed with Carol and as Franz also has presented you, we definitely want to create a club. It's not a club because we want to get together once a year. It's a club because we want the tour operators to be committed to the destinations. We can do that. We can push the destination if they join us. So while we are here pushing you to join us in our activities, we are doing exactly the same in our market, pushing them as well. If we go out with a strong Caribbean brand, whether it is on a tourist board brand or on a tour operator brand, the Caribbean will benefit out of that. So basically, we want to push them coming into let's say joint venture with us, a strategic joint venture, to plan and act more properly for the Caribbean in the market. We have with them a very strong flow of information today. They are very active with us on the website, on the newsletters, but we definitely would like them to be more involved in our strategic approach. For instance, we would like them to join our events as well. You will see and you know that we are planning trade shows, we are planning consumer shows in a way. We think it's important that the tour operators are joining us in that specific field. We want them to be committed in realizing at least one promotional activity purely Caribbean oriented per year. We want them to keep on, of course, sending us their offers about the Caribbean, and we definitely want the Caribiturismo website, the Caribbean website, to be featured and linked on the website as well, so that we may generate more traffic, because the website has been playing quite an important role in our communication, and it's increasing quite consistently in terms of unique visitors, so it's quite important for us. As for France, because we like to celebrate, we would like to get a get-together function with all our partners, but it is strongly linked with the Caribbean club, because we are going to the direction to award the tour operators most committed to the Caribbean, featuring best the Caribbean and selling most the Caribbean. So we really want them to give us something, and we will definitely have to give them something as well. We are planning a roadshow. We started last year and it was quite a success. Well, I mean, depends on the numbers you have in mind looking at other markets, but Italy, out of Milan and Rome, we don't have big cities, and we organized the roadshow last year avoiding Milan and doing Turin, Rome and Bari in the south to cover the whole country, and we got more than 300 travel agencies on board. And considering that Turin has 500 inhabitants and Bari possibly 300,000 inhabitants, it's really a good result. We are going the same direction. We are doing it again. We are focusing on one of the richest area of Italy, which is northeast, and we have selected Verona. We have selected Genoa because it's the cruising capital, and it's from there that cruising are living. And as mentioned, cruising is really important for us. And we are focusing on Naples in the south for one specific reason. The honeymoons, as we have said, are a key product for the Caribbean in the market. And honeymoons in southern Italy are very, very, very big because weddings are very, very, very big. And they normally friends and relatives, which is average 250 people each wedding party, put together the money to pay the honeymoon for the couple. So the budget comes out being quite big, and that's why we really want to focus in this specific segment.
So Serena, I know you have a couple slides left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are looking for the three main travel shows. We want you to be more effective on the travel shows, and I will tell you how we will do it. We want to help you, if you don't have your office or your rep in Italy, to set up an agenda. It will be included in the services that CTO is providing you for the show. And this will be for BIT and TTG. And for BIT, because it's a 2 days consumer show as well, we will invite our tour operators, Italian tour operators partner, to be on the booth as well, on a separate area, to set up their own meetings with the travel agents and to speak with the consumers, so to maximize it. The other important thing for me to underline is that we would like to do No Frills, which is a very product-oriented show. It's not a show I would recommend for a destination, but it's a key show for hoteliers and DMCs. So what we are proposing you is to spread the information of this show among your private sector partner, to get them coming on board for it, and we as CTO will be on front to give your material and your information to the people visiting the private sector. So without attending, you will still get a benefit out of that. This is our very quick and practical list of goals. We want to have at least 6 to 10 tour operators joining us. We want to have 6 Italian tour operators on the BIT booth, and we want to have 8 CTO exhibitors, which would be 2 more compared to last year. We want at least 6 partners for the No Frills and TTG, and for TTG we were 4 this year, I guess. And we would like to get 10 co-exhibitors for the roadshow. There were 9 last year. And we want to create a Caribbean marketplace farm trip with 5 participants. So our goal is to increase what we have done previously, so to keep the trend. The benefit, of course, first, if you send us your information on a regular basis, your information will be spread on a regular basis to the media and to the trade. This will be free of charge, and it's a great way to reach the Italian market without any cost. Again, if you are joining us on the events and you don't have your own office, we will help you in setting up the meetings with the tour operators and to filling up your agenda, which is a key point for all the trade shows, I would say. For No Frills, I told you already. We want to reach at least 200 participants in our road shows. And for the Caribbean marketplace, the key thing is that once they are in the Caribbean for the marketplace, we would like you to host the group of tour operators in your country for 2, 3, 4 extra days, so that they can benefit of the fact being already in the area to see something more and have a more complete idea of the Caribbean. Basically, our ultimate goal is to help you selling more in the country.